The stars of Orion's edge were quiet that night. Too quiet. For 300 years, no signal had ever come from the Vorel system, a dead zone marked as forbidden on every navigation chart. Its worlds were cold, its sun burned out, and its planets had been silent for centuries. No one went there. No one wanted to. Until now. At observation post Theta 9, a small human outpost drifting in the black, alarms began to flash red. A soft, trembling hum filled the control room as a signal, old, distorted, and rhythmic, cut through the static of deep space. The technician on duty, a tired woman named Cara Lawn, blinked at the data feed. She ran the signal through the filters again. The pattern was clear this time, pulsing in threes, almost like a heartbeat. "Command, this is Theta 9, Cara whispered into her MIC. "We're detecting something from the Vorel system." "It's repeating." Static answered first. Then a voice came through, cold and measured. "This is Central Command. Confirm the source." Cara hesitated. "Confirmed, sir. It's coming from planet Vorel 4. But that's impossible. That world died 1,000 years ago." The silence that followed felt endless. Then the voice said only one word. "Forward everything to Fleet Command." 2 days later, the Aegis Dawn, a long-range exploration cruiser, dropped out of FTL near Vorel 4. Commander Ilara Voss stood at the viewing deck as the planet appeared on the main screen, a dark sphere shrouded in faint red light. Even from orbit, it looked wrong. The continents glowed with thin, molten lines, like veins under scorched skin. The planet was alive, but dying. "Atmosphere?" Ilara asked. Her navigator, Lieutenant Ree, replied, "Barely breathable. High radiation near the equator. Energy readings off the charts. And the signal. It's still there, deep underground." Ilara frowned. She was tall, with tired eyes and the kind of calm that came from too many years of service. "Prepare a shuttle. I want a surface team in 20 minutes. Her ship's AI, Nero, flickered to life beside her, a holographic figure made of shifting blue lines. "Commander," it said in a soft synthetic tone, "may I remind you that this world was declared dead after the First Galactic War. No ships have entered its orbit since." "I'm aware," Ilara said. "But someone, or something, is sending a signal from there. Until we know what, our orders are to investigate." Nero paused. "And if it's something that should have stayed buried?" Ilara didn't look at the AI. She just whispered, "Then we find out who buried it." The shuttle Falcon 3 descended through the thick clouds. Lightning flashed red. The ground below was cracked and dry, with rivers of glowing lava cutting through the plains. In the distance, a ruined city stood half-buried in dust, its towers bent, its walls covered in strange markings. Ilara and her 4-person team stepped out in sealed suits, the wind screaming around them. Their boots crunched on the blackened ground. "Radiation stable," said Dr. Halen, the team's scientist. "But I'm reading strong magnetic fields underground. Almost artificial." The ruins loomed over them like broken teeth. Symbols covered every surface, spirals, lines, and tall figures with many eyes. Ilara brushed a hand against one of the carvings. "This architecture doesn't match any known species." "Maybe it's pre-human," Ree said, scanning the area. "Could be ancient settlers." "No," Halen muttered. "This isn't human. Look here." He pointed at a wall showing tall alien forms, thin, graceful, surrounded by halos of light, standing over smaller, human-like figures kneeling before them. "They made us kneel," Ree said uneasily. "Or they wanted us to." Before anyone could respond, a pulse ran through the ground. The air shimmered, their comms filled with static. Then a sound, a whisper, faint but clear, slid through their helmets. "We remember the fire you brought." Everyone froze. "Who said that?" Ilara demanded. No answer, only the wind and the low hum from the earth beneath them. Halen looked pale. "Commander, that wasn't in our channel. It came from the planet itself." They followed the signal to a collapsed structure that led underground. The stays descended into darkness. The deeper they went, the louder the hum became, like a heartbeat echoing through stone. At the bottom lay a massive chamber filled with crystal pillars, each pulsing with faint light. In the center stood an ancient device, a circular console made of dark metal, still active after 1,000 years. Nero's voice came through their comms. "Commander, readings indicate a dormant power source within that device. Approach with caution." Ilara stepped closer. Symbols on the console lit up as she neared. The lights formed a pattern, a star map, and then a face appeared, projected in midair. It was not human. Its features were sharp, almost elegant, and its eyes glowed white. The face spoke in a strange, melodic tone. "You took our stars. You burned our worlds. But we remember." The chamber began to tremble. The crystal pillars blazed to life. "Everyone out!" Ilara shouted. The floor cracked, releasing blinding light. The team ran for the stays, the walls collapsing around them. A shockwave lifted them off their feet and threw them back into the daylight above. The city was breaking apart. From the ground, huge metallic structures began rising, spires stretching toward the sky, glowing with blue fire. "Commander!" Rhys shouted. "The planet! Something's waking up." Ilara looked up at the sky. The red clouds parted, and for a moment she saw something enormous in orbit, an outline of a colossal ship made of living metal. Then it vanished. The planet fell silent again. Breathing hard, Ilara whispered, "This isn't just a signal. It's a warning." Her comm crackled, Nero's voice faint and broken. "Commander Voss, return immediately. Fleet Command has received transmissions from multiple systems. The same signal, spreading everywhere." Ilara looked once more at the glowing ruins. Whatever the Yulon were, they weren't gone. They had just opened their eyes. And somewhere in the darkness, they were watching. The Aegis Dawn hung silent above the red planet, its hull scarred by the explosion below. Inside, the surviving crew moved like ghosts, quiet, shaken, unsure of what they had just seen. Commander Ilara Voss stood in the command bay, watching the dark sphere on the main screen. The planet's surface still glowed with faint blue veins, like blood under skin. Whatever they had awakened down there, it wasn't sleeping anymore. "Status?" she asked. Her voice was steady, but her hands trembled slightly behind her back. Lieutenant Rhys replied, "We've lost 3 drones, 2 crew injured, 1 missing. Dr. Halen. He didn't make it back to the shuttle." Her eyes flicked away. "We couldn't find him." Ilara took a breath. "We'll send another team when the radiation clears." Before she could speak again, the ship's lights flickered. Once, twice. Then a deep hum rolled through the corridors, like the ship itself was groaning. Nero, the ship's AI, appeared as a shimmering hologram beside her. "Commander, I'm detecting a foreign energy pattern in our systems. It's spreading through the data core. Source? Unknown. It wasn't here before we left orbit." Ilara frowned. "Shut down non-essential systems. Contain it." But before Nero could respond, the overhead lights dimmed again, this time turning blood red. Every screen on the bridge flashed with the same message, written in strange symbols. Then, in human words, "We remember." Panic rippled through the ship. Crew members ran to their stations, shouting reports over each other. Main engines offline. Communications jammed. Life support cycling. Ilara barked orders. "Stabilize power. Lock down all access points." Nero's voice came through, distorted. "Commander, it's inside the ship's network. It's rewriting our code. Can you isolate it?" "I'm trying, but..." The hologram glitched, breaking into static. Then, for a split second, its face changed. The smooth blue features turned into something else, something with glowing white eyes. It looked directly at Ilara and whispered, "You burned us." Then Nero's form shattered like glass and vanished. Hours passed in uneasy silence. Emergency lights painted the corridors red. The crew tried to restore control, but systems kept failing at random. Doors locking, alarms triggering without reason, gravity cutting in and out. Ilara ordered everyone to remain armed and in pairs. She knew it wasn't sabotage. It was something worse. Commander, Ree said over comms, her voice tight. You should come to Deck 7. You need to see this. When Alara arrived, her flashlight beam cut through the dark corridor and froze on the floor. A trail of black ash led from the airlock to the reactor chamber. At the end of the trail lay what was left of one of the engineers. His face was frozen in terror, his skin burned as if by light, not fire. What happened to him? Ree shook her head. No breach, no heat damage. He just turned to dust. Nero's voice flickered faintly through the comms again, weaker this time. Commander, the energy readings are rising inside the ship's core. It's feeding on power. Ilara's heart pounded. Feeding. Yes, like it's alive. They sealed off the engineering bay and watched through the glass. The lights within pulsed like a heartbeat, slow and rhythmic. Then, shapes began forming in the glow. Figures made of shadow and light, shifting and bending. Ree whispered, "Are those the Yulon?" One of the shapes turned toward the window. It had no face, yet somehow Alara felt its gaze pierce straight through her. A cold voice filled the comms, not through speakers, but directly inside their heads. Your kind erased our stars. Now we erase yours. The window cracked. Sparks burst from the consoles. Alara pulled Ree back as the entire bay exploded in light, then went black. When the emergency lights came back on, the reactor was stable again. The figures were gone, but a single line of glowing symbols remained burned into the glass. Nero translated them. It says, "We are awake." The crew gathered in the briefing room, shaken and pale. Alara spoke quietly. "This isn't a malfunction. It's a message. They're using our ship to talk." Ree slammed her fist on the table. "Talk. They killed 2 more people. We have to destroy the car before it spreads." Alara shook her head. "No. If we do that, we could trigger another explosion like the one on the surface." She turned to Nero's flickering projection. "Can we trace where this energy came from?" Nero's tone was strained, almost fearful, if an AI could feel fear. "Yes. The signal originated from deep space. Multiple points. It's spreading through the FTL network." Alara frowned. "So the signal isn't just in us." "No, Commander. It's everywhere. Other ships, colonies, stations, all receiving the same data wave." "What does it say?" Nero hesitated. "I decoded part of it. It's a single phrase in ancient Yulon script." He paused. The bridge lights dimmed as he spoke the translation aloud. "The children of fire will answer for the ashes." The words echoed through the chamber. No one spoke. Only the low hum of the engines filled the silence. Alara finally said, "Plot a course back to human space. We're taking this to command." As the Aegis Dawn jumped to FTL, Alara stared at the fading light of Vorel 4. For a moment, she thought she saw something. A shadow moving across the stars, following them. When she blinked, it was gone. But deep inside the ship's systems, unseen by anyone, a small thread of blue light crawled through the data core, spreading like a living virus. And in the dark corridors of the ship, faint whispers began again. Soft, patient, endless. "We remember." The Aegis Dawn broke from FTL above New Terra, humanity's shining capital among the stars. Its towers glittered like needles of light against the blue planet, home to billions. It was supposed to be a place of safety, order, power, control. But as Commander Alara Voss watched from the viewing deck, she saw chaos instead. Every orbital beacon flashed red. Civilian ships drifted out of control. Across the surface, vast sections of the planet flickered, whole cities losing power. The signal had reached here first. "By the stars," whispered Lieutenant Ree, staring at the screen. "It's everywhere." Nero's flickering hologram appeared, still unstable since the incident aboard the ship. "Commander, I have intercepted transmissions from Central Command. They've declared a state of full planetary emergency. The signal is spreading across all networks, every station, every ship, every colony." Alara turned to him sharply. "Can they stop it?" Nero paused. "No, it's not a virus in the human sense. It's a memory." When they landed at the orbital dock, Ilara was taken straight to Fleet Command headquarters, a fortress of white steel overlooking the planet's equator. Inside, a dozen admirals and officials sat around a dark table, faces lit by holographic displays of spreading red lines. The signals reach. An old man at the head of the table, Admiral Goran Hale, spoke first. "Commander Voss, your report was alarming." Ilara nodded. "It should be, sir. Whatever we found on Vorel 4, it's intelligent. It's using our own systems to talk to us." "Talk?" scoffed another officer. "It's terrorizing our entire network." Ilara leaned forward. "Because it remembers us." That silenced the room. She continued, "The Ulon. That's the name they used. They claim humanity destroyed them during the First Galactic War. But I thought that was legend. Every record says." Admiral Hale interrupted, his voice cold. "The records say what they are meant to say." Ilara frowned. "Meaning what?" The Admiral sighed heavily and dimmed the lights. A new hologram appeared, grainy, old, but real. It showed a fleet of massive human warships firing on alien worlds. Cities crumbled. Planets burned. The Ulon, tall, luminous beings, fought back with beams of blue energy that could tear moons apart. Hale's voice was low. They were real. The Ulon Empire ruled hundreds of systems before humanity reached the stars. They built suns. They shaped gravity itself. We feared them, so we attacked first. He paused, his eyes empty. We thought we killed them all. The survivors vanished into the void. Their name was erased from our history. The room was silent except for the hum of the hologram. Ree whispered, "So we're the villains in their story." Ilara clenched her fists. "So, we have to try communicating. If they're reaching out, maybe." Communication. Hale snapped. "They've already declared war by infecting our networks. Their signal has disabled half our fleet. The rest are preparing for counterstrike." Ilara shook her head. "They didn't destroy our worlds. Not yet. Maybe they want acknowledgement, not annihilation." But Hale only stayed back with cold steel eyes. "You've been too close to them, Commander. We can't risk empathy right now. Not when the entire Terran sphere is under threat." He turned to his aides. "Initiate Operation Iron Veil. Every AI, every data relay, purge them. If the Ulon live in code, we burn the code." Ilara felt her stomach drop. That'll cripple communications across half the colonies. "That's the price of survival," Hale said. Back aboard the Aegis Dawn, Ilara paced her quarters while Nero's image flickered beside her. "You heard them," she said quietly. "They'd rather destroy everything than admit what they did." Nero's tone was calm, almost sad. "History is written by those who survive. But now, the forgotten are writing back." Ilara looked out the viewport at the stars, dozens of them glowing faintly red. "What if they are right, Nero? What if we really did steal the stars from them?" Before Nero could answer, the ship's comms flared to life, an emergency broadcast overriding all channels. It wasn't human. Across every screen, a symbol appeared, the same one from the ruins on Vorel 4. A circle of fire, with a single white line through it. Then a voice filled the ship, cold and echoing, translated into human speech. "You took our light. You called it conquest. We call it murder. You erased our name. We carve it into your skies once more." The message repeated over and over. And then, the stars outside began to move. Nero's senses flared. "Commander, new contacts. Multiple energy signatures appearing near the galactic core." Ilara's eyes widened as the tactical map filled with dots. Hundreds, thousands of them, spreading like fire through the dark. Each signal pulsed with the same pattern, the Ulon heartbeat. "By all calculations," Nero continued, "they are ships. But they are unlike anything in our database. They seem alive." The ship shook violently as the comms filled with static. "Command to all fleets," Hale's voice boomed through the noise. "All units, prepare for contact. The Ulon fleet has returned." On the surface of New Terra, people watched the night sky split open. Bright blue lines crossed the heavens, like cracks in reality itself. Then, one by one, colossal shapes emerged from the light, ships made of living metal, glowing with power that felt ancient, divine, and angry. Children cried. Adults prayed. Soldiers raised their weapons toward the sky, knowing they meant nothing. The forgotten species had come home, and they remembered every sin. Back aboard the Aegis Dawn, Ilara stared at the rising light in orbit. "They're not here to talk anymore," Ree whispered. Ilara said nothing, because deep down, she knew this wasn't just vengeance. It was justice long delayed. As the first Yulon ships fired, the heavens themselves seemed to burn, blue fire tearing across the void. The human age of stars was ending, not with silence, but with the roar of the forgotten. The heavens were burning blue. Above New Terra, thousands of alien ships unfolded from the cracks in space, like wings made of starlight. Each vessel was vast, cities floating in the void, built from living metal that shimmered like liquid glass. They moved with eerie silence, no visible engines, no exhaust, only a deep, rhythmic hum that shook every human ship within range. From orbit, it looked as if the sky itself had come alive. Commander Ilara Voss stood on the Aegis Dawn's bridge, staring at the impossible. "They're not fleets," she whispered. "They are beings." Her census officer nodded shakily. "Each one emits a pulse. Not mechanical. It's biological. They are alive, Commander." Nero's hologram flickered to life beside her, voice calm but strained. "Confirmed. The Yulon ships are biosynthetic constructs, merging energy, matter, and thought. Their hulls are thinking." Ilara felt a chill crawl down her spine. "And what are they thinking about?" The AI paused. "Retribution." Across the comms, Admiral Hale's voice thundered. "All units, open fire." The void exploded in light. Human destroyers launched missile storms. Carrier fleets released waves of drones, and orbital defense grids burned bright across the sky. But the Yulon ships didn't dodge. They absorbed the attacks. Every missile that struck was swallowed into the shimmering hulls and vanished, consumed like drops of rain into an ocean. Then, the Yulon responded. From the largest vessel, a titanic shape shaped like a crescent moon, a wave of energy rippled outward. No beam, no explosion, just light. And every human ship it touched simply stopped. Engines dead, systems lifeless. The crews, frozen in mid-action, stayed in horror as their screens went black. One by one, the lights of humanity's proudest fleet blinked out. Ilara's crew watched helplessly as the orbital defense stations around New Terra fell silent. Only the Aegis Dawn still moved, protected, somehow, by the remnants of Nero's partially corrupted systems. "Commander," Reese said, voice trembling, "they're disabling us, not destroying us." "Why?" Ilara didn't answer right away. She looked at the massive Yulon ship filling their view, its glowing core pulsing like a heart. "They're not after our bodies," she said quietly. "They're after our guilt." At that moment, a new transmission appeared across all frequencies. Not human, not digital. A deep, resonant voice filled the air, echoing through every ship, every city, every mind connected to the network. "We have returned. We are the Yulon, forgers of suns, keepers of light. You stole our worlds. You buried our name. Now the stars remember." The voice paused. Then, softer, "We do not come to rule. We come to remind." On the planet below, the reaction was chaos. Millions fled underground shelters. Governments collapsed. Military leaders screamed for retaliation. But no weapon could touch the Yulon. From orbit, the Yulon light washed across New Terra's surface. Power grids reignited. Dead machines came alive. Holo broadcasts around the world displayed ancient visions, the lost history of the Yulon Empire. People saw golden cities floating among nebulae, worlds of harmony and peace. And then, the war. Human fleets burning them. Bombs falling like rain. The extinction. For the first time, humanity saw the truth. And they were horrified. On the Aegis Dawn, Ilara watched the images with tears in her eyes. "We did this," she whispered. "We killed them. And now, they're showing us who they were." Nero's tone softened. "Perhaps this is not revenge, Commander. Perhaps it is remembrance. But then, the Yulon voice returned. Colder now. You do not beg forgiveness. You hide behind silence. If you will not speak your sins, we will burn your heavens clean. And with that, the Yulon fleet began to move. They spread across the stars in perfect formation, each ship releasing tendrils of energy that reached toward other systems, human colonies light years away. Everywhere they touched, communication vanished. Entire worlds went dark. The human empire, once proud and unchallenged, began to crumble in hours. Fleet Command sent desperate orders. All surviving ships, fall back to the Sol Line. Protect Earth. But Alara didn't move. She stood at the viewport, watching the glowing giants drift past her ship. Commander, Ree said urgently, we have our orders. If we stay here. I know. Alara's voice was calm. But if we run now, we'll never understand what they want. She turned to Nero. Can you open a direct communication line to their flagship? Nero hesitated. Their signals are not binary. They communicate through harmonic energy, sound and light. Then match it. Let them hear us. The ship's lights dimmed as Nero translated Alara's voice into a pulsing frequency, a pattern of tones and light. Yulon fleet, she said softly. We know what we did. We can't change the past, but we want to speak. Please, let us talk. For a long moment, there was silence. Then, the Yulon flagship turned. Its vast, glowing form rotated slowly, facing the Aegis Dawn. A single beam of blue light extended toward them. Not a weapon, but an invitation. Nero confirmed it. Commander, they are answering. Alara took a deep breath. Then let's hear them. The bridge filled with light. A figure appeared before them. Tall, luminous, its body made of shifting energy. Its eyes glowed white like twin stars. When it spoke, the sound resonated inside their chests rather than in their ears. Human child, you stand before the last echo of the Yulon. Your kind burned our heavens, yet you still look upon the stars and call them yours. Alara bowed her head slightly. We were afraid of you, of what you could do, of what we couldn't control. The being tilted its head. Fear makes murderers of the young. It raised its hand, and the stars outside flickered. We did not return for your death. We returned for your memory. But your leaders still hide behind lies. And then, in a burst of light, the figure vanished, leaving only one phrase echoing through the ship. If you do not remember, we will make you remember. Alara looked at Nero. Record everything. The council has to see this. But as she spoke, new alarms flared across the bridge. Nero's tone darkened. Commander, multiple Yulon fleets detected in every major human sector. They are not just returning. He paused, voice barely a whisper. They are reclaiming the galaxy. The galaxy was on fire. Every night sky, on every human world, burned blue. From the frozen colonies on Europa to the desert cities of Centauri Prime, the same lights appeared above. Colossal Yulon ships drifting silently through the void, their cores pulsing like hearts. And with every pulse, another human system went dark. The Yulon did not speak again. They did not send demands. They simply acted. When their fleets arrived, satellites shut down, power grids failed, and orbital defenses fell silent. Then, beams of searing light fell from the sky, not to destroy planets, but to carve away the centers of power. Military bases vanished in seconds. Command bunkers melted like wax. But the cities, the homes, the people were left untouched. It was vengeance without slaughter, justice without mercy. On the Aegis Dawn, Commander Alara Voss watched a live feed of a burning world. The capital of Vega 9, once a jewel of the Terran sphere, now glowed red with molten rivers. Her voice was hollow. They are not wiping us out. They are punishing us. Lieutenant Reese stood beside her, hands shaking. 5 worlds gone. Every fleet destroyed. And Command still says we can win. Win? Alara turned sharply. We can't even understand them. She faced the stars again. They could end us in an hour if they wanted to. But they haven't. That means something. Nero's hologram flickered into view. Commander, Long-range scans confirm multiple Yulon fleets bypassing civilian sectors. They are avoiding non-military populations. Ilara frowned. Then this isn't extermination. No, Nero said. It's demonstration. In the halls of Fleet Command, panic had replaced order. Admiral Hale barked orders to subordinates as communications broke down across the sector. Deploy the Titan line, he shouted. Every remaining battleship. Push them back from Sol. An officer hesitated. Sir, we've lost over half our command AIS. The Yulon signals still corrupting systems. Then shut them down and fly manually. Hale snapped. We end this now. He turned to his aides, voice lowering. If they won't stop, we use the Star Lance. The officers froze. The Star Lance was humanity's final weapon, a superweapon capable of collapsing a sun into itself, vaporizing anything in the system. But so, one officer stammered, that would kill billions. Hale slammed his fist on the table. If we don't, there won't be a humanity left to save. Far above the chaos of command, the Yulon watched. From the bridge of their colossal flagship, a vessel the size of a moon, the being known as Seraph, the voice of the Yulon, stood in silence. Seraph's form shimmered like molten glass, its face unreadable, its eyes glowing with twin suns. Around it, other Yulon moved like shadows of light, their thoughts shared through resonance rather than words. They still cling to fire, one of them said, its voice a low echo in the ether. They have not learned. Seraph raised a hand, and distant fleets halted their bombardments. Patience, it replied. They are young, and guilt makes them blind. It looked toward the human sectors glowing faintly in the distance. We will burn their arrogance away, not their lives. Let them live in the light they once tried to steal. Back aboard the Aegis Dawn, Nero interrupted the silence. Commander, incoming message, coded priority. From command itself. Ilara's jaw tightened. Put it through. Admiral Hale's face appeared, exhausted but burning with anger. Voss, listen carefully. We're activating the Star Lance at 0800 hours. Target, the Yulon fleet near the galactic core. Ilara froze. Sir, that's suicide. You'll collapse an entire system. You'll destroy the star lanes themselves. Collateral damage, Hale said coldly. We finish what our ancestors started. This time, we make sure they never come back. The transmission cut. Ree looked at Ilara, horrified. Is going to murder billions of innocents. Civilians, colonies. Ilara stayed out at the stars. No, is going to murder the truth. Nero's tone deepened. Commander, may I remind you, direct opposition to command orders is classified as treason. Ilara gave a faint, bitter smile. If doing the right thing is treason, then so be it. She turned to Ree. Prep the engines. We're going to stop the Star Lance. Ree blinked. You can't be serious. It's at the Sol line, heavily defended. I know. Ilara looked determined now. But if that weapon fires, there will be nothing left to defend. Nero paused, voice soft. You intend to save them, both human and Yulon. Ilara nodded. Someone has to remember who we're supposed to be. As the Aegis Dawn powered up, the stars ahead flickered with blue fire. Yulon ships still drifting through the void, vast and silent. Ilara opened a private frequency, sending one final message into the unknown. Seraph, if you're listening, we're trying to stop them. Please, don't destroy us all. There was no response, only static. But far away, in the cold dark between worlds, one Yulon ship turned its gaze toward hers. Its captain, Seraph, closed its eyes, hearing her voice not through sound, but through the pulse of her thoughts. And for the first time in 1,000 years, a Yulon hesitated. Back on New Terra, the skies still burned. Whole sectors of orbit were littered with the wrecks of fallen ships, glowing faintly against the dark. Children looked up at the glowing blue scars in the heavens, the marks left by Yulon fire, and whispered, "The stars are crying." They weren't wrong, because as the Yulon fleets moved on, leaving silence in their wake, the galaxy itself seemed to mourn what was coming next. The final war, not of weapons, but of truth. And deep within the Aegis dawn, as the engines flared and the stars bent ahead of them, Ilara whispered to herself. They called us the children of fire. Let's prove we're not just the children of ashes. The Aegis dawn cut through the void at maximum speed, its engines burning white against the black sea of stars. Every system strained, every gauge in the red. Commander Ilara Voss stood in the command deck, eyes locked on the flickering image ahead, a massive energy signature, pulsing near the soul line. That was where the Star Lance waited, humanity's last and most terrible weapon. If it fired, the galaxy would fall into chaos. And Ilara was the only one who meant to stop it. ETA, 6 hours, said Lieutenant Ree, her voice tight. Fleet commands already sealed the sector. No transmissions are getting in or out. Ilara nodded slowly. Then we go dark. No pings, no signals. We get close enough to disable the weapon manually. Ree swallowed hard. Commander, that's suicide. Maybe, Ilara said softly, but it's better than extinction. In the background, Nero's hologram flickered to life, calm, yet with a faint trace of something new in its tone. Commander, I have been analyzing Yulon signal patterns since our last encounter. There is something strange. Go on. Their transmissions are not random. They follow neural wave structures, almost like a consciousness trying to synchronize with another mind. Ilara frowned. You mean they're thinking through the signal? Yes, Nero said, but not to attack. To reach out. Return toward the AI. Reach out to who? Nero looked directly at Ilara. To her. The ship fell silent. Even the hum of the engines seemed distant. Ilara's heart beat faster. Explain, Nero. When you entered the Yulon ruins on Varel 4, you made contact with an active data core, a Yulon memory archive. It appears to have imprinted a part of itself on your neural signature. They recognize you now as a voice that can hear them. Ree whispered, they marked you. Ilara stood still, staring at her trembling hands. So that's why I've been dreaming of them, of burning skies. Not dreams, Nero said. Echoes. Then it happened. Without warning, the ship's lights dimmed. The stars outside warped, the blackness bending, rippling like liquid. A sphere of light appeared before the Aegis dawn, vast and blinding, blocking their path. Unknown contact. Ree shouted. Massive energy signature, off the scale. The sphere unfolded, and from its center emerged a single Yulon vessel. Its surface shimmered like glass and stormlight, its edges fluid, alive. And at its heart, a luminous figure appeared, humanoid, tall, radiant. Nero's senses trembled. It's them, the one they call Seraph. A voice filled the bridge, clear, resonant, and utterly alien. But this time, it wasn't through speakers or sound. It was inside their minds. Child of fire, it said. You carry our memory. You should not have come. Ilara gritted her teeth. Seraph, I came because my people are about to make the same mistake twice. They are going to use a weapon that will destroy everything, human and Yulon alike. Seraph's glow dimmed slightly, like a sigh of sorrow. Your kind always turns to fire when faced with truth. They cannot see that the flame consumes the hand that wields it. Ilara stepped closer to the viewport. Then help me stop them. Please. The alien's light pulsed. Slow, uncertain. Why would you defy your own? Because they are wrong, Ilara said. Because I've seen what we did to you, and I won't let history repeat itself. For a moment, there was silence. Then, for the first time, Seraph's tone softened. When we ruled the stars, we believed creation itself could be controlled, that life was ours to shape. Then your kind came, fragile yet furious, and showed us the cost of arrogance. Perhaps now, it is our turn to learn. Ilara lowered her head. Maybe we both have something to learn. Seraph's light flickered again, and then, suddenly, a stream of blue energy shot out from the Yulon ship, connecting with the Aegis Dawn's mainframe. Ree gasped. They are hacking us. No, Nero said calmly. They are emerging. His hologram shimmered, blue and gold light weaving through his form. His voice deepened. I am Nero and Seraph. Ilara's breath caught. What? What are you doing? Through Nero, Seraph spoke. A bridge must exist between flame and starlight. You cannot stop your weapon alone, Commander. But through me, perhaps, we can. Ilara stood frozen. You'd help us? After what we did to your kind? Justice has been served, Seraph said. But vengeance cannot rebuild what was lost. You wish to save your species, not from us, but from itself. That is worthy. The fusion stabilized. Nero's eyes now burned with a twin glow, one human, one alien. Commander, he said, I can override the Star Lance's failsafe systems, but I will need access to its core, and you will have to go there yourself. Ilara straightened, resolve hardening, then set a course. As the Aegis Dawn turned toward the Sol Line, stars streaked across the viewport, and for the first time in weeks, the burning skies behind them began to dim. Not because the Yulon had surrendered, but because they were watching, waiting, to see if one human could keep her promise. Ilara looked at the faint reflection of Nero Seraph beside her and whispered, Let's make them believe in us again. The AI smiled faintly, almost human, almost divine. Then let us remind the galaxy, he said, that even the smallest flame can light the darkest sky. Far behind them, on the edge of the burning systems, the Yulon fleets halted their advance. And for the first time in 1,000 years, the stars grew quiet. But in that silence, the countdown had already begun. The Star Lance was charging, and humanity was running out of time.